Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Foodie Friday. I wanted to open up this particular episode by saying welcome to Hades, because this is like the 30th day in a row, I think, in Tulsa that it's been over 100 degrees, and today, the last I heard on the car radio, it was 108 degrees, and I mean the heat index is even higher than that. So I'm standing in the shade and I'm still breaking a sweat, but I wanted to bring you outside just for a second to show you my edible garden that I planted earlier this season in my front yard. And it's kind of pitiful right now, really. We'll just kind of come around here and let you see what I've got. This used to be just totally overgrown with weeds, and it's really kind of suffering now because the heat has been so extreme. But I have lemon verbena, I have mint, I have rosemary, creeping thyme, oregano, my sage is looking kind of pitiful. I've got some edible lavender that's barely hanging in there. I have some garlic chives, but you know, one thing that's not suffering are my basil plants. I mean, they are going completely, totally crazy. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I planted 5 little baby basils earlier in the spring, and they are vibrant and taking off, and they're taking over actually. So I thought today, for this episode of Foodie Friday, we would highlight basil. I'm sure a lot of you all have basil growing in your garden too. So let's whip up a few recipes in the raw food kitchen with this summer superstar, the brilliant basil. One of the most classic uses of basil in the summertime is a simple basil pesto. And so, of course, I'm going to be making that today, and here are the ingredients that I've put together for that. We have 2 cups of freshly picked basil leaves. I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of walnuts. Generally, basil pesto calls for pine nuts, but you can really substitute any nut that you have on hand. Almonds, pine nuts, pistachios are excellent, even pecans. And then I also have a little clove of garlic that I'm going to throw in the mix. Instead of using Parmesan cheese, I'm going to use cheesy nutritional yeast. I think I have about 2 tablespoons maybe. I'm also going to put a little bit of water, olive oil, fresh pepper, and a little bit of sea salt. I'm going to add that to my Cuisinart, and we're just going to whip that up, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it in just a little bit. One of my favorite ways to enjoy basil pesto in the summertime is just to put it in a squeeze bottle. I've just put it in an old agave nectar bottle. I've spooned it in, and I am going to drizzle pesto over these freshly sliced homegrown tomatoes, and then I'm going to cover that with just a slight drizzling of balsamic vinaigrette. It's just a wonderful meal to eat on a hot summer's night. I mean, when it's 100 and whatever degrees that it's going to be this evening, I really don't feel like eating heavy food, so this is an ideal dinner. It's a great way to get nutrition, especially a great way to get greens into your diet. So I'll show you the finished product in just a second. There's the finished product. I did put a little bit of a dusting of Parmesan cheese. I just had made some, this is basically just blended pine nuts with some nutritional yeast, a little bit of lemon juice, salt, and olive oil. I know the recipe is somewhere on Raw Food Rehab in the kitchen, but I just did a little dusting of that over the top of the pesto, put a little basil leaf for garnish, and that is just a beautiful salad that you could serve for guests, or certainly a nice dinner for 1 or 2. For the sake of time, I went ahead and put this easy summer salad together for you. This is a herbed salad. It's just basically mixed filled greens with fresh basil, a little bit of dill. I threw in a little bit of mint, and just some of my herbs that I have growing out in the front yard. And then I have layered on tomatoes, a fresh avocado, sprinkled on a little bit of sunflower seeds. You could certainly use hemp seed or any nut if you wanted to add something to give you a little bit of a crunch. And then I made a basil vinaigrette. And I know I used a basil vinaigrette in last week's Foodie Friday, but this is a different recipe, and you know, you can never have too many good salad dressings in your collection. And then I just topped it off with a little sprig of basil. It's a beautiful, super easy, fast salad to put together. I think you'll enjoy it. Two summer flavors that marry so well together are fresh homegrown tomatoes and basil. So I just decided that one easy thing to put together would be a fresh basil marinara. Super simple. Let me show you the ingredients. I've got what I think is going to be about 3 cups of fresh homegrown tomatoes. These are out of my dad's garden. He came back through this week. So I'm going to just clean those off and throw those into the food processor with the juice of half of a lemon. And then from the last time that he brought tomatoes, I just had so many that I dried some in the dehydrator. And so that's what they looked like. I mean, they really turned out nice. And so I took about, maybe like 1/3 to 1/2 of a cup, probably 1/2 a cup of sun-dried tomatoes. And I've got them soaking in water to reconstitute those to make them soft. I've got 2 pitted, there's the pits, 2 pitted dates, 1 clove of garlic, about 1/2 of a cup of fresh basil, and about 1/4 of a cup of fresh sweet onion, also out of my dad's garden. I feel like a very lucky girl. I'm also probably going to drizzle in just a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and that's it. And that is going to be a really delicious marinara sauce that you could use in a raw lasagna. You could use it on a dehydrated cracker and make like a pizza out of it. You could definitely make a zucchini. I even actually bought some zucchini today, getting ready for the big juice feast tomorrow. Zucchini, you could definitely make the zucchini pasta for that. But marinara, it's a staple. Perfect time of the year to make a fresh sauce. And I think you could probably even freeze this and pull it out a couple of months from now when these foods are not so much in abundance. There's some pretty flowers that came to Gabby this week. Sunflowers. Fresh basil marinara, and I just took a taste of it. It's absolutely delicious. It's sweet because of the dates, but it's really rich because of the sun-dried tomatoes. I love it, and I think that I'm going to take it with me tonight because we're going over to some people's house for dinner. And I'm thinking for people that eat cooked food, which these people do, that this is almost like a bruschetta. I mean, it's a little bit different, but I think this on some toasted bread for people that are not into raw food would be a really great idea. Or if you, the raw foodist, has some dehydrated crackers, ooh, I'm telling you, good stuff. Also, it would be great in a celery stalk or on some zucchini. Just a really great dish to put on anything. I just like eating it by itself. Good. Well, you know how I like a fancy cocktail. So to close out today's Foodie Friday, we are going to make a strawberry basil martini. It's going to be non-alcoholic, although after the week I've had, I'm tempted to add in a little organic vodka, but I won't. So here are the ingredients. Super simple. I've got some strawberries, some fresh basil. I've got some agave nectar and some sparkling spring water. So what I'm going to do is cut up a few strawberries and put some basil into this cocktail shaker. And then I'm going to take my little green plunger that I use for my juicer, and I'm going to smush it around in there. And that's called muddling. So I'm going to muddle these two things together along with about 1/2 teaspoon of agave nectar. And then I'm going to add ice. Shake it up, add a little bit of sparkling spring water, and you'll get to see the finished product in just a second. Move over, Cosmopolitan. There's a new drink on the block. Check out that gorgeous strawberry basil martini. It's delicious. You'll have to try it.